Think Vonnegut.
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the mother-loving geek nation? You're currently tuning into the CultPop Into the Spider-Verse of Madness podcast, episode 30, a show where we talk about movies and television and our multiversal shenanigans and all the other things that scratch your nerdy little itches. We're coming to you live from the Video Content Factory, which is a bomb-ass production space in Manayunk, PA.
Boom!
What he said, I'm your moist host with the most, Johnny Destructo. Me being what would you say? Am I moist?
Moist.
Nice. And delicious.
There's a sheen too.
Of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. It's a really good comic shop. You should come buy my comic books. With me tonight are
Hi, everybody.
Brian Lieb,
Hello.
Len the Bat Tribble,
Yo, holla at your boy.
and that's it. And
It's Spidey Fieri.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
yeah. Also in the booth is say hi, Dylan.
Hey everybody, how we doing?
You can do better than that. Make it sexier.
Oh, hello.
There it is. I'm wet.
First one
Now
was
I'm
pretty
moist.
sexy too.
Before we get into tonight's discussion, I would like to thank you for being here and commenting and liking and subscribing and getting down and dirty in that chat that we have up on the big monitor here. Robert Monroe Jr. is already in there saying, "Good evening, Cold Poppers.
Good evening.
I saw Spider-Man on Monday with my twins, and we all loved it. My daughter and I are making plans to see it again. Looking forward to hearing your review."
Hated it.
Additionally, we want you to engage with us, so email us at coldpopgo@gmail.com. Why do I do that every time?
Every time.
Same
Do
way
you
I
not
say
know?
Batman.
You do.
I
I
say-
assumed you meant more than one Batman.
No, just one Batman. Little Batman. It's because I'm, what's the word? Annoying. Let's move on to our next segment that I lovingly
He saw my
call...
face. Did you know what I was thinking? Like the other word that you like think to not use?
Oh, Sugar Lap.
No,
Is that not it?
no.
What's the other word?
How you say night?
Oh,
How you
yeah.
used to say night
You mean like an old sword?
phonetically.
Yeah, not nighttime, but like a Knight of the Round Table.
Yeah.
What's
I used to phonetically say it, which
If somebody's
get
not
me in
paying
trouble.
attention, it sounds like a slur, and it's like, no, stop it. Don't do
Knigget.
that, man. It
can
just-
nigget, right?
in like
Yeah,
in the middle
no,
of a
I-
sentence, saying it really fast, you're just like, what?
Hold on now. I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
What's that?
What was that, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what's Sugar Lap?
Oh, well, all right. So here's the thing. Since you're asking, dear listener, and also Brian, when you go to the carnival
Uh-huh.
and you get a plate and it's got fried deliciousness on it covered in sugar,
Yeah.
I can never think of the name of that delicious treat.
It's called a
Funnel
fucking
cake.
funnel cake.
Funnel cake.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
called funnel cake, and I just can't think of the words funnel cake together.
That makes sense.
And so I've taken to calling it Sugar Lap because what happens when you get it at the carnival?
Sugar.
It's all over your lap.
So this. I
A
think,
slight breeze,
I think
and that sugar is everywhere.
I think it's a cute anecdote, but to the point of literally forgetting what you've nicknamed, I think is hilarious.
That's why I nicknamed it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
origin of
because
the
I don't
nickname.
remember it.
When you
And
said
yet it tracks
Sugar
It
lap.
does.
because it's you.
Yeah.
It-
Oh,
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's a good
I'm
reason.
like, are you gonna make a case for sugar lap?
No.
I mean, I could see it. But when you said Sugar Lap at a carnival, for 1 second,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, maybe he's talking about, because you know how carnivals are often kind of, you walk around,
Yeah.
be like your Sugar Lap. Is I don't
Oh,
know, like
yeah,
get all
I
the
gotta
sweet
go
you-
through-
treats.
Yeah, you get
yeah.
the sweet treats, or you've already
I'm gonna get the
won
fried Oreo,
everything.
I'm gonna get
or-
the cotton
yeah,
candy. It's
Yeah.
the lap of the whole facility to get all the sugar
Big,
things.
right? It's
Yeah.
a very
that works as well.
boisterous lap.
When I heard Sugar Lap at a carnival, I was like, where's this carnival and how much?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Who's
sugar
lap?
When you get all that-
What's her
all
name?
that powder in your lap. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you getting a lap dance from a clown or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Ooh, that could be your stripper name, JB.
Oh, Sugar Lap?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that'd be pretty good.
Oh, sugar lap.
Yeah.
Holden.
It's time for
Come to the podcast. Sugar Lap.
name
Sugar Lap.
also.
Come to the podcast.
our segment called What You Been Up To This Week.
Sugar Lap.
Hey, Len, why don't you start us off with what you've been up to this week?
Oh, well. Recently as 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
I went. That's still recent, right?
It's relatively recently.
Relatively recently.
Yeah.
Relatively recently, I've had a lot of Berry Monkey.
It's really good.
I was at the East Coast Black Age of Comics Convention.
Ekbach.
Ekbach.
I've been there. It's great.
It's a great time. Great time. Great Philly-centric black comic book convention now in probably 20 plus years that has been going on. I was there and I actually saw a good friend of mine, longtime friend, Shannon Newby, who actually used to work at a Pathmark in Mount Airy for like almost 20 years. But he always was talking about he wanted to become a filmmaker.
Oh.
And then he developed an actual anthology TV series that was syndicated.
Oh.
Called I forget the name of it. It was called, I'm gonna tell you in 2 seconds.
Seinfeld.
That's not an anthology.
Oh.
Out the
Also not
House.
syndicated. I mean, it is now, but it was a
Oh.
network
Oh,
television
original.
show.
Oh.
But it was called Out the House. And it was almost like a Twilight Zone-ish type of show, and he did it for about 5 or 6 years.
Oh, nice.
But now he's recently got into producing comic books. He was always a long time comic book head, and he's created a comic book called Munch. It's called Munch, ladies and gentlemen. Munch is the origin story of a fried chicken franchise told from the viewpoint of the chicken. Now, here's the 30-second pitch on this. There's this alien species, right? They're called the Vorts.
Mhm.
And they are in war with another alien species. But at some time in amongst their war, they land on Earth.
Yeah. And
while trying to find their way off of Earth, they get hungry.
Yeah.
And they realize that these humans taste good. So now the Vorts return to Earth every once in a while because they hunt for humans.
We are a delicious people.
We are their delicacy.
So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are the chicken.
We are the chicken. We are the chicken. However, David Munch, a former combat medevac pilot, inadvertently becomes the human race's last chance at survival. In this comic book, the original comic book, this is the first trade of, I think, like the first 3 or 4 issues. It's black and white, so it's really back to like the old school indie.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of dumb fun, man. And I'm very excited for Shannon. He's a cool dude. Known him for years. I'm excited for his success. And on this, along with a couple of other ideas and projects that he's got going, he really wants to be a independent comic book creator.
Nice.
And he's doing the damn thing. So shout out,
Good on him.
check out Munch. You can go to snoobycomics.com. That's SNOOBYCOMICS, snoobycomics.com, and get your volume 1 of Munch.
Right
Get it.
on.
I
Make
love
it
it.
happen.
Noise.
I love it.
Brian?
Hi.
Hi.
What's up?
Do you have a thing that
I
you've been
do.
up to this week?
I've been up to a couple of things this week,
1 or 2, yeah.
and I'll tell you of one of them now.
Okay,
It's called Unicorn Warriors Eternal.
Oh, isn't it on Netflix?
It is on
No,
Max.
it's on Max.
Yes.
It's on Max.
Oh.
It's originally, it says Adult Swim and then on
Oh.
Max. So I don't know if it premieres broadcast or
Right.
what passes for broadcast these days. And then on Max. But it is Gendy Tartakovsky's new
right.
animated thing of
Right.
Samurai Jack fame. One of many people, including my all-time favorite.
And
animated thing.
didn't he do Primal?
He did.
Primal. Awesome.
He did.
Great
You know what?
series.
I didn't stick with Primal. I liked what I saw, and I just was not compelled to keep going for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I never wrote it off. Like, maybe I'll finish it. But anyway, this one, it's very cool. It's
And totally different look.
totally different. It has the heavy lines that Primal did, but not quite as heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, at most, a bare reminiscence of some of his other stuff.
Yeah.
It is the story of these mystical warriors who are every so often called upon to prevent a cataclysmic event. They started out thousands of years ago. They were in ancient Egypt, but they say 1,000, which is incorrect. So, at least in our world. So, they fight, and then whatever happens, then they reawaken at some later time. And they've done this numerous times throughout. And then this time is in a steampunk Victorian England.
Oh,
And yeah, so you've got mystical stuff, you got steampunk stuff. There's a steampunk type robot that is the one who goes around awakening them
Yeah.
every time, built by the wizard Merlin. And this time, I think things are a little off. They're reawoken, but it's not. They have not subsumed the personalities of the bodies that they were reawoken into to different levels. There's some very cool visuals when this one kid, who's like the very philosophical, celestial, removed kind of one, he interacts with everything on this celestial plane. So for his perception is this like star field with this crazy abstract stuff happening.
Yeah.
And then he's in the real world that we know interacting, but that stuff is all very cool. And it looks like a pretty compelling story. This girl is on her wedding day called to become this other person, but she's not gone.
not into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so her groom to be is involved in the story, and the love of her many other lives is one of the other characters who they constantly, he's like, "What's wrong with you? Why don't do you not remember me? We've been together for thousands of years." But she does not.
That's neat.
So yeah, it's a
What's it
really
called?
it's a cool story.
Unicorn?
Unicorn Warriors Eternal. It's their half-hour episode, or 20-minute episodes, or whatever.
Now,
Yeah.
I think I saw, I guess, a commercial or trailer for it. And, outside of the heavy line, that's the only reminiscence to Samurai Jack, or well, certainly for Primal. But this looks like it's maybe a little bit more comedic. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a little, you know what? I didn't think of it before, but there's a little early Mad Magazine almost
Oh.
in it. Yeah, where like the character design is a little reminiscent of that, but also just the way that physical gags and pratfalls kind of play out.
Yeah, that's what I saw in like the trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it works for what it is. It definitely seems a little more younger targeted than Samurai Jack was, and certainly than Primal
Yeah.
was.
Some of this has like, do you guys ever play that game Cuphead?
Yes.
Very Cuphead.
I've
like
never
with
played
the
the
big
game, but I've
the
seen the
pupils
show.
and the
Yeah.
they're
So-
very much like really old
Pulling the
timey.
old animation style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was doing a search. It's Unicorn : Warriors Eternal.
Oh yes.
Wow.
And-
Oof.
Yes.
Well, no.
Yeah.
It's not
No,
a
I
terrible
know.
distinction because there's a Unicorn Warriors Princess comic book webtoon.
Ah.
So if people are searching, they might see that instead of this.
Are they related?
No.
I doubt
Oh, okay.
it. Yeah.
I wonder if this. I didn't know if it was like
No, because I
see what I
literally
mean?
typed it in and then I got this instead, and that's not what we're talking
very
about.
different. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's like 5 or 6 episodes out now, which is great because it's real good. I watched the first 4 in a row, and I think if you had to watch them one at a time, it would
Yeah.
be maybe too little of a story.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because now that I've gotten to the new ones, I'm like, oh, that was cool, but I wanted like a little bit more. But maybe that's just because I'm used to the first arc playing out on my command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
No. What you been up to this week, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I read comics.
Hmm.
I enjoy them thoroughly. They might be my, maybe not number one, but 1B form of entertainment.
Sure.
We know what number 1 is.
Porn.
Hmm.
Okay, I was thinking Sam,
Second.
but okay.
Well,
Do you mean the Born Identity?
I don't. She's not a form of entertainment. She's a life partner.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
I'm
is
entertained.
she?
Riposte.
Anyway, I read a lot of comics, and I got into like 2 years ago. I got into a Christopher Priest kick.
Oh.
Everyone,
He's a writer.
Is a storied comic book writer. He's been around for decades.
Yes.
He has had his fingers in probably every cultural shift of comic books in the modern era.
Mhm.
Right. And he has a very distinct style of telling disjointed stories, or nonlinear stories, and he always picks very weird projects.
Mhm.
Like he's doing it to almost entertain himself more
Yeah.
so than an audience. So like,
yeah.
if he will go from like a weird 2000 AD title that means nothing to Superman without even blinking an eye, and
Yeah.
it'll be completely different. So I got into a kick of reading his stuff a couple years ago, and I found out that he, as a comic book reader, I usually judge books that are almost sold exclusively on the male gaze.
Sure. Yes.
I don't like the overly sexualized cheesecake stuff. I know that it's a part of the art form, but if that's the only thing that's offered in whatever you're buying, I think it's edgy trash. So like it has to offer me something else.
Sure.
So there are certain characters that I have literally never read or cared about reading. One of them is Vampirella.
No.
Who is, as far as I'm concerned, 90% her look.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know much about her. She comes
she
from a
is-
planet of vampires that drink blood.
Planet Draculon. They are not
Jesus
vampires. They're
Right.
the vampiri. They're
Yeah.
aliens.
Sorry, my bad. I'm a
Jesus.
piece of shit.
Perhaps hundreds of thousands of years ago, they did beget the original vampire, but that is just hearsay. Whatever. Story. Either way, Dynamite Entertainment just gave him free reign to completely do anything he wants with the character, so he decided to completely reboot it and start doing his own thing.
This is a complete reboot?
You
It
do-
has nothing
well,
to do with...
So it does touch other stuff, or
Oh.
it does go along. Like it
I
will.
see.
It's almost like like New 52 was a
Sure.
reboot, but it did reference a
Yeah.
bunch of shit that
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of happened before.
Okay,
and
cool.
Familiarity.
Did we not
Yeah.
review one of these for the show?
I think
at one
I
time?
talked about it like maybe a year or two ago, but I don't think we've ever
We
reviewed
read.
it.
I definitely read a Vampirella comic for this show,
Yeah.
and I had a similar experience. Like, oh wow, there was way more here than I thought.
Anticipated.
Yeah.
So I've been reading it, and I'm a little obsessed with it. It's really fucking good.
Nice.
So it's collect. I've not been reading it in issues. I've only been reading it collected. It is collected in the weirdest way possible. It's
Red bikinis.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
yeah.
It's actually all the pages are inside of red bikinis that they just send to you directly. It's the longest, most inefficient way I've ever read a comic. Quite titillating though.
And yet you're obsessed with it.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. No, it's collected in trade, but they come out very slowly, and they're not in order of how they were released. They're in order of
The
story.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So he's
Huh.
been jumping around.
Yeah, because he
It-
jumps around a
yeah.
lot.
If you read it in issues, he'll do like a half an arc side story, come back in, do
Yeah.
another one. So like when I looked at the first trade, I'm like, oh, it's issues 1 through 7. Trade 2 is like issues 9 through 14 and 12,
Yeah.
but like 12 after 14.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like
Weird.
it's so weird, and there's only it's so convoluted. There's Vampirella 1 and 2, volume 1 and 2. Then there's a Sacred 6,
yeah.
2 trades.
Yep.
That's in continuity. And
I think
then
I remember this. That's what we read, Sacred Six.
maybe, and it was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Then there was volumes 3 and 4, which aren't even out yet, and then a miniseries, and then a side miniseries, and then a sequel to this first miniseries, and then a sequel to the side miniseries.
How do you
He's
keep
writing all of
straight?
it.
Well,
The
they send it
internet.
to you in
Oh,
order.
I don't like that.
But don't they send it to you in order though, right?
They haven't sent it to me at all.
Oh,
But
they intend to.
they're coming. I'll order them when
Oh.
they come out. I have everything that's out now, and I'm still like not even half
I
this
gotcha.
whole story. But it's like 8 trades worth of like this giant, expansive universe that he's creating out of
Yeah.
a character that I couldn't give a shit about
Yeah.
2 years ago. And honestly, a character that's been around for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
At least
Long
Long
time.
time.
Yeah.
70s.
early 70s.
Yeah.
So it's humbling, like I didn't give a shit. I still think that the way that the character's been used historically, or at
Yeah,
least
you
in the
were right
modern
to not
era,
give a
is
shit.
garbage.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really good book,
Hmm.
and I still feel weird reading it because the cover is like a cheesecake.
Yeah, it's like,
Definitely.
oops, I dropped
Yeah.
my pencil. Let me bend
Dumb
over at
piece
the
of
waist to
shit.
pick it up.
But the story itself is like about the existential experience of being an outsider in a world that like it's so fucking heady and weird.
Yeah.
Like the whole first arc is her going to a therapist and the therapist thinking she's fucking crazy.
Yeah, of course.
And just keeps going back and forth with it. It's good. It's
That's
very
awesome. What is it? There's no bad characters, just bad writers or bad stories or
good. Yeah, no bad ideas.
no bad ideas.
Yeah.
Like when Booster Gold became cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Booster Gold's cool. I never cared about him at all. You know?
Yeah.
You can tell there was
Sometimes
a
it just
commercial.
takes a good writer. Yeah.
Commercial that was like, if anyone wrote a book about your life, would somebody want to read it? I think it was for a branch of the military. And I always said to the TV, I was like,
Doesn't
depends on
television.
how it's written.
Yeah.
You know?
Flip book?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Is
yes.
Grant Morrison writing it? maybe it's worthwhile.
Might be good to read.
Or maybe it's inaccessible.
Yeah,
And-
ooh,
It's
that's
it
true.
could go
You
either
never know
way.
which Grant Morrison you're getting.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or
Is it All-Star
maybe it's-
Superman or Green Lantern?
Um,
JD.
oh, hi, guys.
What have you been up to, haha?
I've been up to FX's and Hulu's The Patient,
Oh.
which did any of you guys ever read, or I'm sorry, watch The Americans?
Yes, I did.
No.
Of the Americans.
See, I've never watched it. It's got the Noxzema girl in it, right?
Carrie Russell?
Carrie
Carrie
Russell.
Russell
Yeah.
and
She-
Matthew
Was she
Weiss.
associated with Noxzema?
Yes.
She was a Noxzema girl.
She
No, no, I think that was somebody else.
No, Carrie Russell wasn't.
It was
She
Carrie
was. She
Russell.
was a makeup girl.
She was
Yeah,
Felicity.
and then she became Felicity.
She became Felicity.
I remember when she
Then she
became
cut her hair.
Felicity, and I was like, oh, it's the Noxzema girl.
Really?
Anywhomst,
Let's talk
Joel
more about
Fields
this.
and Joseph Weisberg were the showrunners of The Americans. You're okay.
It's Rebecca Gayheart.
That's what I said.
You pronounced it in a
All
really
right,
weird
they are
way.
the showrunners of The Americans, and they are also the showrunners for The Patient on Hulu, which stars Steve Carell. He's so
I'm
excited.
so right.
Steve Carell and Damal.
Domhnall?
Damal.
I don't know how
Domhnall?
it's spelled. I can't read.
Damal Gleason.
Domhnall.
He's from
Domhnall.
the sequel trilogy of Star Wars.
Of the Gleasons.
And he was also in About Time, which is a
With
wonderful
Rachel
time
McAdams.
travel
It is
movie.
a really good
so
movie.
good, so
Yeah.
good. Underrated. So The Patient is about Steve Carell, who is a therapist, and he wakes up chained to the floor of a basement. I think he's on a comfortable bed and everything,
that's
but
nice.
like it's
It's not comfortable.
Still captivating.
it's yeah. And he finds out that one of his patients that he's been seeing it's Donald Gleason. He shows up and he's like, "Hey, whoopsie doodles. I lied about every single thing. Turns out, y'all, I'm a serial killer and I need help to stop. So I'm going to keep you trapped here,
So you can help me.
chained to the floor, so that we can have just normal therapy sessions wherein you help me stop being a serial killer."
Somewhat
and that's,
noble, really. So he's a therapist. When you said doctor,
whomst?
the guy chained up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he already this man's therapist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
But like he's been
interesting.
seeing him. He's had a couple appointments with him, sessions
right.
with him,
Right.
but it's all been just lies.
Interesting.
I guess that he was just feeling him out to see if like,
Right.
can this guy actually
know
help
what
me
he's
or
talking
not?
about.
Does he
Right,
know what
right.
he's know what's what? Have you watched it?
I've seen a couple of episodes. Yes.
What do you think?
I think it's a very interesting show. I
Yeah.
just never had the time to stick with it, but it
Yeah.
looked kind of cool. It's interesting to see Steve Carell,
Oh.
outside of, what?
I didn't catch that Steve Carell was in it before
Yeah.
you mentioned that.
The Michael
Oh.
Scott.
But it's actually interesting to catch him outside of comedy.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't done more dramatic things already.
Cash him outside.
Did you
Perhaps.
see the morning show?
No, I didn't see the morning show.
Awesome.
I heard it's quite good.
Awesome.
No,
Yeah.
but I've
Yeah,
seen,
yeah.
I've seen him do more dramatic
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
yeah.
Anyway, so
Little Miss
it's interesting
Sunshine.
to see him in this speed, and it's a very interesting. So I think what did it for me was that it came out like in around a time where there had already been more than a few shows that are about people talking to their therapist.
Mm.
Certainly not with like this kind of hook.
Yeah.
But I was like, do I really
Yeah.
want to stick with this? But it's definitely a great looking show, and I did enjoy the episodes I saw.
Has anyone else watched this?
No, I never heard of it.
No,
When
I
did it
saw
come
the
out?
trailers. Haven't watched it.
It's this year.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty recent.
Yeah.
So
I
I think
it's
we're
just the
about
one
probably-
season.
Yeah, I think we're about halfway through the first season.
Oh, okay.
It's all that exists so far. I think it's just a one and done season. But yeah, we're enjoying it. I recommend it. I do have some qualms, but I also think that has to do with, I'm not going to spoil anything. I have a qualm, but I think it's explained by the mental state of the therapist himself.
Yes, which
Um,
definitely plays a part.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. It's on Hulu. It's from FX, and that's what we've been up to this week.
Huh.
Let's move on.
You know what? I'm sorry.
I like
Thank
that. That was good.
You know, the other reason why I didn't really stick with it is because it reminded me, and I'm drawing a blank on that show.
Of that time you kidnapped a therapist and were like, "Make me stop killing."
Okay, that wasn't the moment I was going to bring up on air.
Oh,
Did
sorry.
it,
But,
wait, though.
He's in the middle of it.
Wait, though. Did it work?
I forgot something.
Spoiler alert! How did it end?
Far
It
away
reminded
from
me,
here.
what is that? David Tennant
Inside Man.
Inside Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wondered
What's
if
that
that's
one?
what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the one he brought it up on the show.
All I know is
actually.
the Spike Lee joint Inside Man.
It's on
No,
Netflix.
it's a different man.
Oh.
With Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the
he
Tooch.
He's,
love him.
He's in it.
Senor
He's in
Tooch.
every episode.
He's Toochin'?
All Tooch.
Most of the time.
It's all
Okay.
Tooch stuff.
And
It's all Tooched up.
that's the
Tooch
theme
is in.
song, actually.
Yeah.
David Tennant plays this
5
priest.
fingers of Tooch.
5 deadly fingers
Just
of
one
Tooch.
full fist of Tooch.
We should be sending him these.
Yeah.
Tooch is in. I repeat, Tooch is in.
Wow.
There's Stanley Tucci plays a character.
Don't go full Tooch.
I think he's the one that you're kind of reminded of, right? In this.
Well, no, I'm kind of reminded of the David Tennant character because remember, as the priest,
Yes.
he, to avoid his son being locked up, actually keeps somebody prisoner in his basement.
Oh,
He
snap.
does. That's true. He does.
Kind of-
I thought you meant more the dynamic, although it's not
yeah, the whole-
therapist related, but
right, it's
yeah.
not, yeah.
And it's two separate stories. That's happening, and Stanley Tucci is like figuring stuff out. He's in prison for killing his wife,
Oh.
and he
Classic
definitely
Tooch.
did it, and
Yeah.
he admits that he did it, and he feels like he should be there, but he
Full
wants to
Tooch.
like
Half Tooch.
help people also.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
in prison, he's kind of like turned himself into like the killer whisperer.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
able to like, if you bring on like the barest of clues, he can suss out.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, I've seen that cliche. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, but it's good.
It was interesting.
It's-
What's it called?
Yeah,
Inside Man.
Oh, it's-
Inside Man.
man.
And
I
it's like
see.
it was a stereo.
Yeah.
It's like
There's really good parts and other parts. Yeah.
It's like, is it good?
You know the thing is, it's really good because it's David Tennant. It's
That's what I'm
Stanley Tucci.
thinking. It's the
Acting
Tooch and
is
Tennant.
Great.
Yes.
Or just watch Broadchurch again.
Oh, Broadchurch is
Broadchurch
so
is
I
good.
know, right?
But it's,
I sometimes I just think about how I wish it was still on.
Even the
It's like,
third
man, that was
season,
good.
even the
You-
third season that is
you know-
not as good,
Still good.
still great.
Still good.
television. Yeah.
No, I just think it's funny that you're not thinking about the show. You're thinking about the fact that you want it to still be on. It was an interesting thought.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, if only that was
When
on.
I think about it being on, I
Yeah.
want it to be on.
yeah, that makes sense.
I'm sorry, Len. What?
I was just
But,
saying,
yeah.
the show doesn't stick the landing now.
Oh, all right.
It's
I got you.
it's. I agree with. It's
Wait, the Tooch
really,
show or the
Tooch
Broadchurch?
show.
The Tooch
Okay.
show.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
really
Broadchurch
well
sticks
done.
all landings.
But it's not. There's some elements of it that I wanted way more of
Sure.
that
Yeah,
are present in the beginning that peter out over the course of it. They were
Yeah.
like the thing that I really liked about it, and then there are some turns where I'm like, ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
So would you say that it goes half Tooch?
It's 3/4 Tooch.
3/4
for
Tooch.
sure.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's pretty
that's
good.
we're- hashtag full
It's still a
Tooch.
limp
That's what we're always
Tooch.
going
It's
for.
a
Full
limp
Tooch.
Tooch.
Oh no,
It's,
a flaccid Tooch.
Some ladies can't tell.
And for those that want to know, it's TUCC. Full Tooch.
Yeah.
Full Tooch, half Tooch,
Double Tooch.
no
The
Tooch.
double C, of
no
course.
Tooch.
Yeah.
If it sucks. Yeah, it's Italian. 2 C's is a ch, as is my last name.
Sure.
Tooch. Yeah.
So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse came out this
5
week.
Tooches.
That's our
Oh.
main review, and we're gonna get to it.
Right after
We're
these
gonna
messages.
get right to it. Directed by Joaquim Dos Santos,
been
Kemp
perfect.
Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. Wait, do we have these messages? Do we have messages?
No, I was
Yeah.
We'll be
yes
right
anding.
back.
He's just like, or we're gonna cut to commercial. We'll see you guys in a second.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, it's good that we have.
Hey, you guys
Just
should
an
buy
extra
stuff
minute to
that
just
I
talk
make
about
money
it.
from. I don't know what that is.
Written by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and David Callahan. Starring Shamik Moore, Hallie Steinfeld, Brian Tyree Henry, Jake Johnson, Jason Schwartzman, Issa Rae, Karen Sony, Daniel Kaluuya, and Oscar Isaac. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider folk charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most.
Moose.
Yeah.
Well, that talks a lot about the plot of that
Does it?
movie. Yeah,
I mean, that's
I mean, it's
the plot.
the trailer, right? I saw the trailer, and
yeah,
they're like,
I guess you
he
see
goes
the
up, you
chasing
see
of
all
him,
the
but-
spiders, and
Yeah.
it's mostly that scene, right? It's like him and the spiders being.
Does he get chased in the trailer?
Oh yes.
Oh
He
yeah.
does? Okay.
Yeah.
He does. JD,
Hey,
because this film just came out this past weekend, do you believe that we should give a bit of a spoiler alert?
yeah. Let's give a spoiler
sense.
alert.
Or do you
Or do you want to do our normal? Yeah.
After
Yeah.
we talk about whether or not we liked it, we'll give you the broad church of it all, the overarching.
We're gonna give you half Tooch.
We're gonna have Tooch it, and then we'll be like, spoilers, and then we're gonna go full Tooch. Len,
Yes.
half Tooch it. What did you think?
I love this movie. I
Yeah,
loved
you did.
everything about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 20. It was great.
Wait a minute. He went above the. He went above. He can't go above 10.
It's like
That's-
an artistic
that's
device
like a-
of some sort.
That's like a triple Tooch.
yeah.
Tooch on Tooch on Tooch.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's Tooches all the way
Tooch is
down.
all- oh, nice.
Hey, it was worth it,
Up
man.
and down Tooch.
Yeah.
It was worth it. It was. That's the only thing it was missing. Was a little bit
So
more.
Stanley
Tucci.
Tucci.
Which- yeah.
Honestly, it's not too late to just kind of have one of the spiders voiced by Stanley Tucci in the next
Yeah,
one. if you
yeah.
wanna
It's
go
not
through
too
it.
late at all. It's
Yeah.
not too well. Oof, I think you like that's a spoiler.
Well, there is another one. There is one after this
Oh,
coming out.
well, no, it's not a
Yeah.
spoiler because they literally announced both movies at the same time.
Yes, but you would be amazed
I know.
by how many people.
I was sitting next
do
to one
not
person who
know
didn't
that.
know that.
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that didn't know that, especially in the audience that this movie actually is aimed for.
Yeah.
Didn't know that, and for me, and it sounds since that spoils a little out of the bag. This is it ends on a to be continued.
You're gonna say on a Tooch be continued.
I'm not going to say.
Thank
that.
you.
Great.
You
Dude,
gave
yeah.
JD
Continue.
You gave
To
JD
be
the
con-
opportunity.
Tooch be continued happened. And my entire theater, the second I saw it twice already. The second time, the whole theater, it was glorious, erupted.
Yes.
And what the?
Yes.
Of course,
Yeah.
their wheel. They didn't have wheels on their chairs, but like
That sucks.
hands went up. People were like, "Oh, hey, what the? Hey, what
But
a
you know
Wuda."
what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me if this happened in your theater, because it
Piss
happened
everywhere.
on both screenings that I went to. They did that. They were like, "What the?" But you know what?
Yay!
It
Yep.
was
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
It was still
God,
there.
This is a 2-hour and 20-minute animated movie,
Yeah.
and that for the ending to still leave people wanting more
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
You guys, I definitely had a little bit of that. You're watching a TV show and you get to the end of it,
You're
and
like,
you're
"What?"
like, hang on a second. Because right at the end of this, I was like, wait a minute. This almost feels like, no, but it would wrap up. But it kind of. and then it's
yeah.
like, to be continued.
Things
and then I
don't
kind of
seem to
remember, I
be
was like,
wrapping up.
oh, they did say there was going to be another one. I just assumed it was another
But
movie
This is
in
why
the
it was
trilogy.
glorious for me,
Yeah.
man. Because like I said, this movie, like we all went to see it. Plenty of adults went to see it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
let's face it, this is a movie that is first and foremost geared towards kids.
Yeah.
Like, probably like young teens to I guess like toddlers or like young teens. or
I mean,
whatever.
like my 8-year-old nephew or 7-year-old nephew, super excited.
Right, and
Yeah,
probably
like,
anywhere up to
yeah.
and there were kids in the movie theater from
Yeah.
all the way up through the teens, right?
Yeah.
As much as we in the
Old heads.
old, well, not so much old heads, but like in this geek sphere,
Yeah.
read every minutia about these type of things. Most adults don't read
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
news to that degree, and the kids don't.
Yeah.
And the glorious part for me was that they were going to get the moment that I had back in 1980
That's right.
when I went to see Empire Strikes Back,
Nice.
and you had no fucking clue
Body just dropped.
that because that's what it was.
Yeah,
Body
yeah.
just dropped.
Because that was Han Solo and Carbonite.
Yeah.
Because and you're like at the end of
Right.
the fucking movie, and you're like, whoa, wait a freaking minute. Are you mean to
Yeah.
tell me that this is over? No, this is the bullshit. And now I've got to wait 5 years for the next one. Get the hell out of here.
I heard a lot of people complaining online about like, oh, I didn't know, and oh, they left. I'm like,
What?
that's a
okay.
That's
positive.
the beautiful
Yeah.
That's
thing about it.
awesome.
Because
The
Yeah.
fact that you were so effing invested
Right.
that
Like-
you felt almost cheated, and
Yeah.
you can't wait till the next one. That's a year's worth. It's not even. It's
It's
less
not-
than
it's less
a
than
year.
a
It's not
year.
even a
Yeah.
because it
But
comes
that's-
out next March.
That's like 8 months worth of invested
Yes.
anticipation.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
And the
And
fact
we-
that you want 2 more hours of this story,
Yeah.
which is not easy for a movie to pull off, that you want 4.5 to 5 hours of a story.
And every one of the kids that were leaving the theater when I went to both screenings, they were just like that. So, oh my God, they're talking about how great it was. I can't wait for the new one. I love that they had that moment for
Yeah.
the first time.
Awesome.
100%.
Because this will feel like 5 years to them, too.
Yeah.
Even if it's only almost a year.
You know it will.
right?
Like 5 years to me.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's already too long.
Yeah.
Noel.
Yeah.
Same.
I love this movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's perfect.
My only gripe, I agree, it's almost perfect. My only gripe is when I think about rewatching things. I mentioned it to you. Everyone's got room to breathe, to simmer, right? A lot of this is very conversational.
Yes.
It's just facial acting and body language and stuff that, sure, other cartoon films have done this sort of thing, but it feels like it's at another level.
Yeah.
Specifically when Spider-Gwen is having a specific conversation in her home. It just feels like there's an actor on screen acting and not an animated scene unfolding.
Was also the world building around that animated world.
But when I think about rewatching things, I do wish that this was just a little bit more of a self-contained story with to be continued, as opposed to we're just chopping it in the middle of the story to be continued. Because when I think about movies that I like to revisit sequels, Empire Strikes Back is a full movie by itself. But then things are left in a way that you're like, well, what happens next? Not like what happens 3 seconds after this cut. It's what happens slightly after. Do you know what I mean?
See, I would argue that Empire Strikes Back feels less complete than this movie.
Wow.
Because the two dangling threads, the two main dangling threads in Empire Strikes Back are Han Solo and the Carbonite.
Yeah.
And Luke finding out that Darth Vader is his father as Darth gets away.
Yeah.
In this movie, yes, there is the continuation of Miles' story. But, and I think it's purposeful, that you are introduced into this movie via Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
She is what introduces you. And her story more or less completes.
I'm going to guess that, but it has to be in spoilers. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Well, yes, it is.
Everyone
yeah.
gets a character arc that's
I
complete
feel
in
like
this
that's
movie.
literally my only qualm is like, I kind of wish it was a standalone thing that I could just put on. I could put on Spider-Man 2 and just watch it because it's a full adventure. I'm sorry, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2. So yeah, there's just that tiny little thing. Brian,
Yes.
what did you think?
I loved
Half
it.
Tooch it.
I absolutely loved
Yeah?
it. I was way late to the party for the first one, right? And
Because you saw it yesterday.
I did. And
That was a joke, right?
yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was last week, you dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a dummy.
I haven't finished it yet.
Okay.
So
He's watching it on his iPhone.
yeah. By the end of the show.
Yeah.
But and I loved that movie. It was great, but I had heard so many good things about it and that the animation was so revolutionary that I went in expecting that. And so I didn't have the like full experience of just being surprised by it.
Yeah.
And I was also in that one a little like I thought they were going into the Spider-Verse and we didn't see
The
Right.
Spider-Verse.
that much of the Spider-Verse, and-
Spider-Verse came to us.
right.
Yeah.
And we just saw a few
Yeah.
other spider characters and they were all great, but there were only a few of them. And
See, the full title was originally Dipping a Toe into the Spider-Verse,
oh,
but then they truncated it.
Yeah, I
That's
was
weird.
wading through the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, yeah.
WAD.
I would have
Yeah.
I would have stuck with dipping a toe.
yeah.
A Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
Dipping
Yeah.
toe dip.
Yeah.
Colon. A Spider-Man,
Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starring
Um,
Stanley Tucci.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would have made a different movie. It's fine. Right.
Top to bottom,
Right.
completely different.
So-
Stanley Tucci as Peter Parker?
Yeah, oh, I'm in.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Especially the older one.
Yep.
No.
Now
As a boy.
my one high school era Peter
He plays,
Parker.
he plays Mayday.
As a boy.
Yeah. Go on.
So this one had all of that, right? It was well into the Spider-Verse, and there was a ton of that stuff. And the story was phenomenal. And even though I knew there was going to be some awesome animation, I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really excellent, extremely artistically done animation. It was great. And I had one extremely minor qualm that's not even really about the movie itself. When I saw the approved by the Comics Code Authority, at first I was like, oh, cool, like a callback. I had a shirt like that once.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, but they sucked.
Yeah.
They were like, but you know, whatever.
It's more nostalgia than
Exactly. It's
laugh, yeah.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
They're not around anymore. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. And it's just nostalgic.
It's just cute. Yeah.
Comic-y stuff, of which there was a lot of cool comic-y,
Oh.
the
of course.
panels and covers and what have you.
Randy
Yeah.
couldn't be here tonight, but he jumped in the chat. Flawless film, my man or man. ... One more example of why every comic movie should be
indeed.
animated. I
Can't argue with that.
Who is
disagree,
Yeah.
but most of the animated ones are great.
Who is this R Moon?
Our Moon
seeming-
is
yes.
a listener,
It
a
is,
viewer.
any relation
Roger,
to our
Roger-
son?
Our son, no, our Moon is
Okay.
not related to our son.
Our son.
All right.
And they say, "Good evening, fellas. Love the movie. At first, wasn't so sure, but by the end, was grinning ear to ear." Yeah.
Nice.
I'm curious, why were you not sure? Because I was grinning from the beginning. Like as soon as I sat down,
Me
I was
too.
just like, dumb smile, very excited.
Yeah, I loved it.
All right, is that everybody? Yeah, we did it. Hey, Dylan, did you see the movie?
I did not see the movie.
Will you shut up,
Oh, we're gonna
you
spoil it.
idiot?
Yeah.
I will. Mike is going off.
So we're gonna spoil it. We're gonna full Tucci it. We're going spoilers.
We're gonna five-finger tooch all the way inside this
Yeah.
movie.
Who wants to go first, Len?
Uh,
You got opinions?
Can I yes
No, go.
your
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, that's
so,
right. You had a thing you wanted to revisit.
So, let's compare it to Empire Strikes Back. In Empire Strikes Back, you get a cliffhanger reveal, and then a coda at the end of the movie of him getting a new hand and them waving goodbye out of the windowless port into the vacuum of space. Didn't understand how that worked yet.
Was it force field?
They've never
Yes.
explained it in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
in Star Trek do they explain it, but
Right,
still,
right,
whatever.
right.
They have shown it in the animated series where you can see that there is a barricade there, and when ships come through it, they go through the barricade, but you never see it
In
in live action.
1981, it was literally them just like staring out and
Yeah.
just openness
They
of
were
space.
just on a deck,
Yeah, I was like, won't they fall
a
out
back deck
and or not breathe? Either way.
overlooking murder
So
space.
that one was, cliffhanger, coda, so you felt a little bit better about it. This movie does the opposite. There are two full story arcs of our two main characters. Gwen gets her story arc completed with the acceptance of her father, decides to take matters into her own hand. That's the end of her story arc for this film. Miles getting to his house and revealing himself to his mother is a complete and full story arc from the start of the movie. And then it just happens to have a coda that is a cliffhanger, finding out. So they are complete emotional stories.
Do you count that as complete if he gives that speech to a person who's not actually his mother?
Yes,
think it
because
could-
the
he
story is
chose
about
that.
him.
Yeah, he made that choice, and then it's revealed that there's more to that story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like I do feel that it's complete. Maybe not plot wise.
Yeah.
It goes somewhere else. But did I feel cheated? Like they cut it halfway through? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Me neither.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like Han Solo in Carbonite, to extend the metaphor. Like there's something happened with him that came to a significant conclusion.
Yeah.
But there's definitely more that needs to be done.
And,
Gotcha.
and
with
for
that.
me, the balance of it too, of having those like cliffhangers worked because there were two types of cliffhangers juxtaposed against each other. You had Miles in complete peril and Gwen pulling the team together at the same
Yeah,
time.
to go save
So
him.
it left you with a holy shit, this is something, not holy shit, that just ended. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is two totally
Yeah.
different feelings for me, and I do feel
Yeah.
complete with it.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
Fast 10.
No, it's not Fast 10 where
Oh,
they
did
just,
Fast 10 just cut?
just cut.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, how are they going to survive? Roll credits.
And this even if you did see the whole story, like if the next one came out right now,
Yeah.
the beat that they end on is a very common middle of the story.
Yeah.
Some things are wrapped up and some things need to be continued. Like we've crested this hill kind of beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt more like the end of, let's say, The Matrix, the first one, with him completing his mission, which for Miles at that point was just getting away
Yeah.
and then coming to the realization this is home and I need to be my true self with my mom or with my parents. Whereas, let's say, Matrix 2 or even, I don't know, Pirates 2, where it literally is just like, that character died. Roll credits. Like, there's no actual, like, crest of a hill narratively.
I
It's
see.
just cuts off and like, hey, but we're going to finish it
Right.
later.
We'll see you
Yeah,
next year.
this was a different experience.
I know. Our Moon is following up. Initially, I was concerned that my expectations were so high, and I was just nervous about being let down. I wasn't.
Excellent.
they finished. Do you guys have a favorite bit of the movie? Do you have a favorite spider? Because I think the breakout of this, despite loving Miles, despite loving Gwen, and them being the two sort of front runners emotionally, I was absolutely blown away and delighted by Peter Carr.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man India.
Prabhakar
That's what I was
Tier,
gonna say.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Say his name?
Puppeteer.
Yeah, Prabhakar Prabhakar. But I
Pavitr. Puppeteer.
I remember they said it in the
Pavitr.
movie, and I was
Pavitr.
like, oh, I've been saying it slightly wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't
remember
what it
how.
was. Yeah.
But like just his movements, his personality,
His design.
his design,
cool, that,
his
like,
gorgeous hair.
thing.
Yeah.
His intro was
Hobie.
Oh, and Hobie.
Hobie was cool.
Our son, the voice of reason. Hobie is that dude with 3
I
exclamation
don't know.
points.
I kind of really liked Peter Parked Car.
Peter Park's
Peter
car.
Park's car was
awesome.
good.
Yes.
There was a joke on Twitter about his true love being Mary Jane Dotson.
Oh my
Like,
god.
yeah,
that's
it's great.
really funny.
That's wonderful.
Super great.
Wait, so who was the actor that did Puppeteer?
Oh, he was the cat. I don't know his name. Forgive
It's
me.
in there.
I don't. Oh shit.
Was
I have it in the notes. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you. He was the cab driver in Deadpool.
Is he Karan?
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Karan
Karan Sony.
Yeah, Karan Sony.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was spot on.
was
He
so
actually
good.
was. I mean, like no disrespect to Hobie, who was voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, who was great. And
I could barely understand what he was
Actually
saying.
able to use his
Sometimes.
real accent in a
They're
movie for
actually
the first
able to
time in a
use
while.
his
Is that the way he talks?
Yeah,
That's the way he
British.
talks.
Yeah,
He's British,
yeah,
yo.
he's British, like a motherfucker.
Black
I mean,
Mirror
no
was a
idea.
different
he slapped a lot more Cockney on it,
British
but
like
he
a
is British.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I saw him was in an episode of Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yeah.
We're speaking
The
of-
best episode of the early
Yeah, it is.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. And no joke. He was dope.
always
And like
been cool.
and the line of the movie, Arson, the voice of reason, like it stole it. Like, how are you cooler without your mask?
I've always been cool.
Yes,
I've always been
he
cool.
and he
Which
was,
is cool.
and it was dope as hell, and that the animation style of it was great. And upon repeat viewing, if you didn't catch it on first viewing, you realize that from the beginning he is setting up. He knows.
The only reason he is, are we talking about Hobie?
Yes,
The only reason he is there is to help Miles and dip out.
that's the only reason.
Awesome.
Oh,
That's
what's
the whole
the
reason.
Because I didn't catch that. What's the stuff that sets it up in the beginning before you know that that's the deal?
Well, not the beginning of the movie. His introduction.
Well, his from his yeah.
Yeah, you just see you if like you pay attention to stuff that he's doing in the background,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like he's pulling like pieces so that he can give
Oh,
Miles what he needs.
Because I
Yeah.
saw him doing
Make your own, homie.
something, but I didn't
Yeah.
think of that.
He
That's
literally
what it was.
pulls a piece
Yeah.
out of the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "What
He's
if we
like, I
needed that thing?"
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
yeah, he's
Ah.
absolutely
That's cool.
absolutely no joke. I loved him. But with that being said, Pavatar, I don't want to
think-
I was saying
mispronounce
Paviter, but
I think it's
Spider-Man in
From
Mumbabatam
Boom
Boom,
Yeah.
boom, bam.
was
Yeah.
delightful.
it's
Absolutely.
so fun.
I just
So
loved
Absolutely.
him. I loved
Yeah.
that whole world.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like, and this is traffic, and this is traffic, and this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
traffic. I mean, I love.
And that's where the British stole all our stuff.
I loved every single solitary thing
Uh-huh.
about it. I loved his design because it
Yeah.
actually, because I knew of the character from the comics,
Yeah, yeah.
but I didn't really follow the comics that deeply.
Mhm.
But I'd seen him in the comics.
Yeah.
So when I saw him in the movies, I was like, okay, I recognize him, but that's better.
Yeah, that's
I
way.
love
They
it.
need to change.
Yeah.
They need to do a new series with him and make it that character.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing, you can't do that design in comic books because this is a digital computer making sure that stuff stays on track.
I say,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
other
stuff.
than someone's
There's a
hand.
lot of stuff.
Um,
And I liked how he
there's-
was using the his webs
like,
to
golden
to
thing?
spin the golden gauntlet.
That was cool.
And that was
That would go
cool
into
because
the-
in the first one, when I watched it, the first one, my first viewing,
Yeah,
I saw him have that, but I thought he was then also spinning webs.
yeah.
Mhm.
But then when I went back and said, "Oh no, that's all he's using."
Oh,
that's interesting.
Is that like Indiana Jones
Oh.
with a whip?
Kinda.
But it's
Yeah.
got that thing?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice
I
that.
didn't realize he
Yeah.
wasn't.
no.
Well, I mean, if he's not super
Hmm.
sciencey, he's doing a.
That's-
Well, because
Yeah.
the character in the comics, right? We couldn't remember last week. He has like a claw thing that shoots out, but I don't think he makes webs. I think that's
Oh, it's
his
true.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw. I didn't get to read the whole article, but I saw something about that Spider-Man India is like an example of Peter without tragedy.
yes.
Well,
I saw
yeah.
that. I saw
Part of the
that.
problem,
Well, I mean, the part of the
Well,
problem in this
the
movie,
tragedy
but
hadn't
just
happened yet.
right?
Yeah.
The tragedy was about to, because
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
only been Spider-Man for 6 months,
Right.
right? So he was due for his
Yeah.
tragedy. I see Arson in a chat talking about the way they all moved together in that scene was epic. shout out to it's a three-headed monster that directed this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
it's in the
movie.
notes.
Kent Powers, who co-directed and co-wrote Soul. And you
Oh,
can feel
that
him on
tracks.
kind of like more of the soulful.
He's all over Gwen.
like beats and stuff like that. I think the other guy, Justin, I forget what he did, but he did some other work. But shout out to Joaquin Dos Santos, who cut his teeth doing some of the greatest animated series of the last 20 years, anywhere from Legends of Korra, did some epic episodes of Justice League. Like he's been cutting his teeth. And
Was he on Young Justice as well or no?
I think he may have been one or two on the first season, but
Yeah.
but he kind of like moved on. He also did the remake of Voltron on Netflix.
Yeah.
Dude, he finally got his hands to play with some digital tools.
Yeah.
Yo, dog, Joaquin, though you don't ever need to be back on television, dog. You just stay in the movies, dog.
Yep.
Stay in the movies, because he killed it.
Another favorite bit. I loved the revelation on the train, wherein Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, is having the conversation with Miles, and it reveals to him that, and it all tracks from the first movie. So clearly they all knew what they were doing.
God, so much tracks from the first
Like,
movie.
because you see the original Spider and it glitches.
Yes.
And before it bites Miles, and the fact that Miles was the original glitch, that Spider was supposed to bite someone else in Universe 42, Dimension 42.
Right.
And he's not even supposed to be a Spider-Man, which I think works really well as a meta commentary on all of the people are hashtag not my Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. All that, nonsense. It feels a little bit like even the other spiders are like, you're not supposed to be a Spider-Man. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Which is an excellent case to make for him being the Spider-Man,
Exactly.
Yeah.
not another Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
But I've seen some static online. First of all, this movie was started and written close to 4 years ago. So them being a part of the conversation now about Miles and the hate towards Miles is actually pretty prescient. Like, would they have known that? I know that people were like giving shit about it, but like, it's really ramped up in the last couple of years. So to have that kind of as a theme is really was good thinking. But I've seen a lot of static about people complaining, which I do not share this complaint, that many Peters or spiders
I've seen that,
would be okay with this system.
with Miguel's plan.
Just the system of we are all born of tragedy, and if we don't let it happen, worse things will happen. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. They're saying that Peter would not submit to that. And I don't know what comics you've been reading.
Right.
Because I think he absolutely would.
Mhm.
He is first notoriously for making poor decisions. Reckless ones.
He's got the old
And-
Parker luck, dog.
And his entire deal is sacrificing his happiness and his self and his anything for the greater good.
Yeah.
But he is sacrificing someone else.
Right.
But
For
that's
the greater good.
But
hang on. The only time that has
Yeah.
become something that they have to actively fight
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
is with Miles. So
Yeah.
that is the first time that all of them have had to like make a choice in the moment, and they're all going with protecting this system that they know, as opposed to we've had to fight so many spiders and they've all lost because we got to make sure that their family dies. Like, no, it's not come to
True, that's
to
true.
that until this
Yeah.
moment. And Parker absolutely does fight for his like what he thinks is right, and he's often wrong. So for people to think that like, oh, this wouldn't have happened with a room full of Spider-Man, I completely disagree.
Yeah.
I completely disagree.
I did think, and maybe we'll find out in the second one if this is an issue or not. But I was like, well, why would this have to happen to Miles if he's not?
That's the point.
You know,
Right.
They're protecting a
Yeah.
system that doesn't apply to him.
right,
Because he's not supposed to, because he's a glitch.
Not,
Right.
You're not supposed
And
to be.
Right.
we, the audience, learn that
right.
knowing that, oh, Gwen doesn't have to follow those rules either. Like we as the
Right.
audience are told that Gwen doesn't actually have to have that same canon moment.
Because
Meaning-
her dad.
Because she is not Peter.
Oh, right.
Because she's different.
Yeah.
And that could exist. That could be her canon. So
Hmm.
Miles himself may not have to happen.
Who in Peter Parked Cars continuity had to go? I wonder.
Gwen Ford Stacy, or no, Captain Ford Stacy. Yeah.
It tracks so much that he wasn't supposed to be the Spider-Man. And Vincent, because we reviewed this yesterday on the Michelle Show, and Vincent pointed this out to me. And to be fair, I believe it was pointed out to him that not only in the first movie do you see, Spider 42,
Yeah.
and you see him actually, the spider actually glitch in the film, right?
Oh no! Our son, the voice of reason. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Len. This is too funny. So who in Peter Parked Cars story had to die? Our son, the voice of reason, said Uncle Ben's.
As in Mercedes
That
Benz.
is phenomenal.
That's pretty
The
good.
show's over.
That's why
You get
he's
it.
the rapper.
You're,
Yeah.
you're a lyricist.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was pointed out?
It
That's
was
so good.
pointed out that not only does the Spider 42, indicating the dimension that he's from, glitch,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because he's in the wrong dimension.
Yeah.
Right? But when he does bite Miles,
Yeah.
anytime you see Miles' spider sense in that movie, it is purple.
It's a 42.
It's purple and green
Yeah.
because he's like the Prowler.
Oh,
It's the Prowler's
no.
colors.
That's interesting.
And it does not become the colors of Spider-Man until that world's Peter Parker dies and he sinks.
That's interesting.
Wait, 40. Wait, who was there? Was a Peter Parker? Who was the Peter Parker of 42?
No, not
No,
of
his
42.
world's Peter
Not of
Parker.
42.
His-
Oh,
his-
until
here.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Until damn it.
Do you notice he
Oh, I do
also-
have a question though. Why didn't Gwen glitch? Gwen sets herself up, goes to high school in order to meet Miles, and doesn't worry about glitching.
Well, I mean,
She's there for a while, like going to class.
So
I
we
hadn't
don't
gone to it
see,
yet.
I don't remember us seeing a watch on her.
I mean,
Right.
she just didn't.
She just didn't glitch.
She did glitch when they. I think it was just a storytelling thing of like not showing her glitch right away.
Yeah.
Because when you does reveal that she's also one of the other spiders, she does glitch.
Yeah.
It's probably just like a.
Maybe it's unpredictable.
Yeah, it's
Like-
unpredictable.
Well, it's definitely
Sometimes it takes
unpredictable.
longer. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of just waiting around,
Lot of
hoping
time.
not to glitch. Like while I'm in
Hey.
chemistry class,
It's a
waiting
lot.
to
Yeah.
introduce myself to Miles Morales. Yeah.
Did you guys notice Miles in this movie is wearing a basketball jersey that has the number 42?
I did
on
not
it.
notice that.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that either.
That's
Good
good.
time.
I like that though.
The
I'm sorry.
answer.
Did you have something?
Oh, how do you guys feel about Miguel?
Oh,
Uh,
that's your guy.
Your
he is
favorite
my guy. Oh, also 42 shows up right in the beginning also. Which I noticed because of the Hitchhiker's Guide.
It's the answer to
Yeah.
everything.
yeah. Anytime I
Um,
see the number 42, I think of Hitchhikers and a towel.
I think it was also Jackie Robinson's number, which which is
It
what I
is.
thought was the reference.
It probably
In
is.
yeah,
Probably more so than Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No, that's what I thought the reference on his
Oh.
But then
basketball
again,
jersey was. Even though Jackie
Lord
Robinson
Miller,
is not a basketball
Maybe
player.
both.
It's probably a little bit of both.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go on.
So anyway, Miguel O'Hara. I thought he was great. I think he's an antagonist, not a bad guy.
He's more
Right.
or less the antagonist of this film as
Yeah.
they're building up, because this film more or less is the origin story of who you
Right.
presume is really going to be the antagonist of
Right,
the third
right.
film, The Spot.
and he may,
Or
it
the
might be all
Prowler.
spiders together.
The
Or
Spot
what?
Prowler.
Maybe. But I thought it was cool. It was cool to see him. He gets a little dark towards the end,
Yeah.
but I did like Miles. Like, are you even a Spider-Man?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what is?
You got claws?
Right, you got claws. You don't
You
joke
sure
around.
you're a Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is another thing too, because it's like his whole thesis about all of them have to experience this tragedy.
Yeah.
I was a little like, this is an infinite reality, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I've definitely read what ifs where that doesn't happen. You know.
Yeah.
But he
Well,
didn't.
maybe after that
did
issue,
not. It's
that
true.
reality crumbled.
And most what ifs do end very poorly.
That's true.
For everyone involved.
Well, to go back, whoopsie daisy, we were talking about how Miles is different, so he doesn't have a canon event, and Gwen is different. So's Miguel.
Yeah.
He is in the same universe as the 616 Spider-Man, just in the year 2099,
Mhm.
and he's not Peter.
Yeah, well, Miguel makes his own problems, his own personal problems, by trying to take over someone else's life by messing with it, and then
Yeah.
just kind of surmises that this is what we protect.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes into the actual like planning of when it's an alternate style of XYZ.
Well, no, I'm just
Carry the
talking about
two.
how we were all just hypothesizing that the reason that Miles is different. Maybe it doesn't apply to Miles or it doesn't apply to Gwen.
I don't think it
But
applies
also
to Miguel
wouldn't
either.
apply to Miguel, but it
or
does.
even Jess Drew.
But it doesn't apply to Miguel. He had a captain authority figure in his life die.
Oh, I don't know.
Did he?
And,
I don't
perhaps
know. Yeah, I
this
don't think he
Miguel
did.
is not actually in the same 616.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
He's also
it
in the
might have been. Oh,
comics.
you know what it is? We're all talking about a specific canon event, which is Uncle Ben,
Right.
or I'm sorry, an uncle, or no, a captain.
Or a
like
captain.
A captain.
Somebody,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm finding my way there. We're all talking about the captains dying, and that is a canon event. That is one in a bunch of canon events
Yeah.
that are
Exactly.
supposed
True.
to happen.
Yeah,
and he
so,
does
like,
say it
yeah.
kind of plays out different. Like for Miles, they have a picture of him with his uncle Aaron. You know,
Yeah,
that
so
counts for his
it's-
first
yeah.
canon event.
Yeah, like the canon events are malleably the same-ish, not
Yeah.
necessarily
Right.
the same.
Yeah.
So like an uncle and or father figure, mentor
Yeah.
dying,
Mm.
right?
Mhm,
That is a
mhm.
canon event, but it could be a completely different person in that life.
Mhm.
Same with the authority figure or the captain, if there is one. It doesn't break it.
Yeah. Oh,
Even though we
speaking
don't know
of-
the specifics, it still doesn't break it.
Yeah. Speaking of the particulars of different universes, I absolutely loved how they referred to the MCU as 1999, 99, whatever,
Yeah.
and not 616.
Yeah.
Because I really think the MCU missed an opportunity to call itself something other than 616.
Yeah.
And is like, well, no, that the comics reality is a different reality.
Yeah, the
in
comics
our
is different than the
multiverse.
movies.
You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
But they just called them 616.
And I think in
so-
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of
Yeah.
Madness, they
Let's
called it
just-
616.
Let's just call her unreliable, considering how
Yeah. I
like,
could deal with
she's
that.
mapping
Yeah.
it herself.
And also, maybe they called themselves 616, and everyone else is like, no.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. But so I thought that was
the
awesome.
authority.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna go with the infinite other realities.
Speaking of which, though, what did you guys think of the live action elements
Glover?
that they Donald Glover,
Yes.
Andrew Garfield with
Yeah.
I'm an asshole, Leo, what's that guy's name?
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary as Captain Stacy. It's
Yeah,
from
you also-
Amazing
right.
You
Spider-Man.
also see
Ben and Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see,
You
them
see a
all.
bu- you see
Yeah.
all
But
of them,
Donald
yeah.
Glover, he's there.
He's there
You know,
acting.
which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
fun.
actually a good bit. I
Yeah.
like that.
I slipped.
That's MCU Prowler, right?
I
Presumably,
hope so. Yeah.
he's in.
Because he
he's
is-
in
Nah,
talking
come
about
back.
his nephew.
I got ice cream in here.
He is
Yeah.
Aaron Davis in Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that. I like all the and the way the other live action, they're basically like just moments on the screen.
Yeah.
So they were cool. You know, it was so, and I understood why they couldn't have, Tom in there.
Oh, just
Oh,
rights and money
yeah.
wise and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
probably because
Yeah.
he's kind of like shared with Marvel.
Right, and he may
Sony.
be signed to a contract of an amount of movies that this
Yeah.
would have
Also
to
true.
take
He's
into
like, y'all are not
effect.
going to waste one of these
Right,
movies
right?
Yeah.
on a screen
Right.
Yeah.
in the background.
Now, Len, you had asked, and I think it was off air, but you said to JD last week, "Who are you really hoping that you don't know is in there already, but will pop up?"
He already mentioned it.
Oh, who was it?
Peter Parker.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it?
When I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I was giddy. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
See, I was. Wait, does that name exist before this movie?
I don't think so.
It's
I don't.
just
Yeah,
a
I
spider
think I think
movie.
it's just
It's just a
called
spider
Sentient
movie.
car.
Yeah, I think they,
Yeah.
Okay.
give him that for this.
Now-
go ahead.
Oh, I was watching it and I had two possibilities. The first one I saw was you only see him, he's part of a crowd. Amazing Spider-Man 500 future Peter Parker
With the cool
and the jacket.
Nehru jacket with the
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Actually,
Awesome.
I love
was,
that.
Yes.
That was the first time. I don't know if you
JMS.
noticed.
Yeah.
We saw it together. I don't know if you noticed. But that was the first time I went, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You did
yeah.
that several times.
But that
he
was
was
the first
literally
one.
pointing at the screen.
Oh, in the middle of this movie or towards the end, I'm like, I have to see this again. And
Yeah.
and maybe when I can pause it,
Yeah.
because there are too many spider people that I want to take in here.
Yeah.
my favorite bit was when they come back, when you're introduced to the spider lobby for the first time, and was it UK Spider Woman?
Yeah.
Oh,
with the,
yeah.
with the
First
scarf.
bit there.
Just
Yeah.
says, "Did you spot the spot?" And then it was all right. Everybody just get it out.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
the cacophony of bad puns.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, this is
That was
fucking
awesome.
Amazing.
So
All the
good,
puns.
so
Yeah.
It's
good.
fucking amazing.
Spectacular Spider-Man was the other
That
one
was
from
nice.
the cartoon.
Josh Keaton.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
when you get is that the one the little
The
spider
little
Yeah,
spider
yeah.
guy.
Is
Yeah.
it spectacular? I thought it was ultimate.
No,
No,
spectacular.
he's
You can tell by the
Spectacular.
mask.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's
Yeah, Spectacular is the only one who has the line straight
way through?
down.
Yeah.
yeah he gets a an emotional line.
Yeah.
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 It comes from this little thing.
It's so great.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved the whole movie.
So great.
It
And
was great.
people that were bitching about, well, I wanted more Spider-Man Noir, and I wanted more. I mean,
They're coming.
Don't worry
Well,
about
also
it.
stick
It's gonna be
around.
great.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole ending was fantastic.
But to that point, as much Spider-Man is in here, as much as it introduces Gwen, what I feared happened didn't happen because you don't lose Miles.
No.
in
No,
this
it's
movie.
very much his
that
story.
was a Terry
yeah.
complaint early on
Yeah.
too. Like, well, there's going to be so much that we're going to
Yeah,
lose.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Like,
worried
no,
about
I don't think
that.
we
But
did.
even with the very strong presence of Gwen, so far as to open the movie with her, she does not eclipse his
No.
story.
No,
Well,
you know?
I mean,
Yeah.
that speaks to the running length of the movie too.
Mm.
Like, it is a double-hander.
Mm.
This is
long.
just
yeah,
as much
definitely.
Gwen's movie.
Yeah, and I
If
thought that was
they
great
had-
opening with
if-
her and then
Mhm.
transitioning.
But it also, like, the movie does end with full story arcs for both of them. It is a
Mhm.
two-handed movie that's for both of them.
Yeah.
If it was any shorter, one of them would have felt rushed or short.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
There's a
speaking
lot
of
of
the-
moments where the adults in the room are just talking to one another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was.
loved
Yeah,
it.
it was
Yeah.
great.
It was a real
So much
movie, man.
conversation.
And well,
Yeah.
the like you said earlier, the expressiveness, but also just the fantastic nature of the animation
Yeah.
makes whatever you are looking at cool to look at.
Yeah.
So-
Gwen's world of
Oh, yes.
watercolors that
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
with her mood
Yeah.
and the emotions. And then there's one transition, like very early in the movie, where she leaves the apartment, and then and the camera's like the camera is behind her, and she's walking out of the apartment. Now she's on the street, and then she passes one person, and next thing you know, effortlessly she's on the subway.
Yeah.
It was so
So
fucking
good.
beautiful.
Oh, and it would change between Gwen and
And Dad.
well, the mask.
Oh yes,
She would
yes,
be
yes.
either have the mask on or mask off, and like, I think she had the mask on, but then the subway doors open, same shot, and she's got no mask on. So yeah, it's so cool. I cried, as I do. I'm a sobby little. Our son. I just love the fact that at the end of the day, it was just two brothers on the run from the man, Miles and
Yes.
Hobie. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, Hobie was the original Prowler in the 616. Hobie Brown was. Yeah, Hobie Brown was the Prowler.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
Oh.
in Dan Slott's run, he became a good guy for a little
Yep,
while as
yep.
the Prowler, and then I
He's
don't know
gone
where
back
he's
and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
but
with the
Hobie
Rocket
in this
Racer.
movie is AKA Spider Punk.
Yeah, Spider Punk.
Right.
But yeah, I cried during so many like
I know,
as a
it's
new
insane.
dad, the conversation between the mom, who by the way, I have a crush on an animated mom who's not Lois from
No, she's very
Family Guy.
attractive.
Yeah.
She's an attractive woman.
Say you like eating red carpet. But yeah, she's wonderful. And then the whole conversation that she had in where were they? In like a little
in a water tower.
gazebo, water tower. I was crying during that. And then even later when Peter and Mayday Parker
and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
and Mary Jane, I was just like,
And think of how many movies, because Peter is very much a tertiary character
Oh,
in
yeah.
this movie, as opposed to the first one where
Peter
it's more
B.
of a
Parker? Is that
right,
Peter
right.
B. Parker.
Think of how many movies
B. Parker.
that small little scene of him, Mayday, and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
That would have been the first thing. If live action, that's
Yeah.
the first thing to cut.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's the first thing to cut. And then this movie still found that moment near the end of the film.
yeah, yeah.
Very
And it
confident
still
movie.
felt real. It felt lived in. You didn't feel like you were pulled away from
Yeah.
it. Anything.
I was seated, IMAX screen, very large,
So good.
between my beautiful wife and my beautiful boyfriend
JD.
JD. And at certain times in the movie, I hear I have like a spider sense. I feel when she's feeling
Mhm.
emotional. So I look over at her and she's like doing this, and then I just hear, and it's him.
Yeah.
So I just had like a book ended by a deep emotion, and I'm like, am I broken?
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
It was in
And
surround
I
sound.
think if I try and I really feel it, I can
Yeah.
cry. But as of right now, I'm okay.
I'm an
I
easy
think I'm
mark, man.
alright.
I just cry a lot.
I
And
usually
I
do
also
too.
do a thing you can usually feel on your seat. You can hear me vibrating because I do this like kind of vibration before I actually before tears come out. But anyway, yeah.
I'll tell you about the end of this movie. This was the first movie in memory for me that I have sat there and watched the credits because I wanted to watch the credits.
Yeah.
Like I knew that there was no post-credit scene, and I was like, I really want to see this play out. Like just him swinging around, passing through stuff around thing. It was very,
Yeah.
very cool closing
The
credits.
score is wild good.
The score, the
Everton score is
Mhm.
amazing.
the soundtrack,
Metro Boomin. I
Metro
think.
Boomin.
Yeah.
Oh, 13 new tracks for this thing. It is ridiculous. And the credits are worth watching because all of those animated styles of the worlds and all the different characters, like there are credits, thanking almost every one of the comic book creators behind all of them. So I think it's really cool.
I have to see this again, don't I?
Oh, speaking of which, I saw it again with your question in mind. You pulled me aside at the comic shop. You're like, JD, how did the spider T-Rex swing?
Yes.
He's got a tiny little web shooter on his
That
little
makes
T-Rex
sense.
arms.
I did wonder, first of all, love it. Want more of it. Dinosaurs as superheroes. Let's go. But I
just
did
had,
wonder where the web came from. I
Justice
didn't
League.
remember. So I wasn't sure.
Jurassic League. Yeah.
Jurassic League. It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it came out of his mouth or if it did a
Like the
thing.
cat.
Yeah.
That was cool.
The cat was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, give me a 30-minute animated mini movie of the cat and the T-Rex on a mission.
Yeah, I love
Let's
that.
go.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yes. I'd make it 10 minutes.
10.
I don't think.
All right,
Type
15.
them.
Split the difference.
Okay.
Like
as long as we're
a
bargaining.
old school Adult Swim episode.
Okay.
12 to 15 minutes.
JD, how did you feel about the Scarlet Spider, who was presented differently than I thought he was
Yes.
going to
With
be?
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
musculature.
And like
And poses.
he was very
Perfect
90s
pose.
comics, which I was not thinking they were going to do. I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
A lot of Ben Reilly fans. There's like 4 more of us. The other 3 Ben Reilly fans were really upset that it was like
Yeah.
just like edgelord 90s. So it was more
Yeah.
commentary on the Marvel comics of the 90s and not so much him as a character specifically. But I thought it was funny. I'm not gonna get mad at it.
It was fun. I mean, Andy Samberg is always good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was definitely like, oh, I thought we were just going to see the Scarlet Spider, not
not
a commentary on 90s comics. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, that did come out in the 90s and does for many people symbolize the excess of the
Yeah.
90s.
yeah. The Clone Saga
Yeah.
is like the big
Which,
But
no.
well, I think I saw your exchange on Twitter with somebody else about when has there ever been an era of Spider-Man that everyone was happy?
Yeah. And I said, yeah. It was like, was there ever any time that people weren't pissed off at Spider-Man comics? And I was like, yeah, Amazing Fantasy 15. That was it. Anything after that, they were like, that's not right.
Well, I mean, you could just pre One More Day, everyone was happy, and you're like, it's Clone Saga.
Yeah.
Well, pre that,
Right.
everyone was happy. So 40 years ago,
Yeah.
right.
like
Yep.
And probably also
probably
no.
not. Yeah,
Oh, speaking of comics though, those comics covers
Mhm.
throughout as different characters were introduced. I have that cover still. I think Spider-Man 2099 one that shows him,
Mhm.
with that like bronze orange border or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I was like, it's that one. And I think the Miles Morales was number 2, which I thought was pretty cool.
number 2 of the Saladin Ahmed.
Saladin
Okay.
Ahmed? Yeah.
But just because
Yeah,
this
it
is
was
the second
modern
movie.
one. Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty cool that this is the second one because that was the first one. Seeing Amazing Fantasy 15 that he's reading was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is that before it's revealed that he's in universe 42, which is not his home, his mom has different eye colors. So
Interesting.
in his home, 1610, his mother's eyes are brown, but in 42, her eyes are green.
Interesting. I didn't notice that part. I noticed
course
like
I
the
noticed
subtle
that.
differences in like his room and
Yeah.
then like behind her the apartment.
Actually,
And
took
it
me a
didn't
minute.
feel weird. It felt weird her holding the laundry for some reason. I was
Yeah,
like
that was
that
yeah.
felt.
Yeah, when
more-
did you guys pick it up? Because it was for me.
That's
like,
when I picked up.
right before, and I was like, wait a second.
When she mentioned something about like what did she say? She doesn't mention the dad. She's like, I take care of you, I take care of me.
Ah.
And she doesn't mention the dad, and I
okay.
went, "Oh, Dad's dead instead of
I
think-
Uncle Aaron."
Right,
actually-
We're in the wrong universe.
It was
Huh.
at that point, which is like 5 minutes into the scene, so
Right.
it's not
Right.
like immediate.
Yeah,
like,
right. No,
no,
really
no, no,
obvious. That's the point also too, where I literally uncontrollably, because I suck at movie theaters, said to my wife like, "He's not home."
yeah.
It affected me like a small child.
And
I
they
was like,
do that
"He's
thing
not
we have
home."
seen so many times, but when done is done well. It's masterful. We see that Gwen has
Oh,
gone
yes.
to his apartment,
Yeah.
right? To their apartment, and is waiting outside of his window in the rain. And so you see the conversation happening between Miles and his mom, and then it cuts to her eavesdrop. It seems like she's eavesdropping but then you find out that she's not there at all. She's
Right.
she's back at his actual home.
Right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it was done
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing that makes sense afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's when it's done
It
well,
tracks, yeah.
usually. Yeah.
Isn't I'm not caught up on my Spider-Gwen comics. Sorry, Ghost Spider, Spider-Woman, whatever. Isn't Captain Stacy, her dad is like her man in the chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, he
die.
helps her out now.
Yeah, he's like her Alfred.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I was kind of less worried about him dying.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I think that tracks.
Also, when do you guys remember when he shows up? The Spot is going through different universes, and he shows up and talks to the Asian lady.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
from
know-
Venom. Right?
Venom, yeah.
Was that Venom? I wonder.
Yeah, Mrs.
Okay.
Chen. And he goes, "Can I have this gum?" And it's called Venom Mint.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
How did you like the Spot?
I
Oh,
thought it
I
was
thought he
cool.
was fun. I love
Yeah.
that he goes believably from just I have no
Victim of the
idea what
week.
I'm doing.
Mhm.
Villain of the week.
Doesn't even really want to do what he's doing.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
This is my first. This is my first robbery. Please let it go well for me. And then as he powers up, he becomes more and more believably horrifying
Yes.
and intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. The voice work that Jason Schwartzman does, really, really good in this.
And how the animations
It just-
continually
Yeah.
changes and evolves until he is just like, yo, he stands out as a different piece of
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
well, where did it get this cartooning style?
Yeah,
Of its
yeah,
own-
He doesn't match
making-
anybody else.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
You know what? They
Great.
do a really good job in the beginning too of the exhibiting his powers.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
of like stuff going through and hitting
Yes,
from over
yes.
here and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like this really just alive, sort of chaotic experience, which was very cool.
And also the pathos of his whole situation and how
Mhm.
you actually I mean, I don't know you guys, but like I actually felt bad for the guy after a while when he's telling his origin story, and he was just a dude. He was just a scientist,
Got
and like you
hit
did
with a
this to
bagel.
me. Yeah, you hit me with a bagel.
I've hit a lot of people with a lot of foods.
Yeah, I've hit a lot of villains with a
Yeah.
lot of foods. But yeah, it's really I love the Spot, and I hope we get. Obviously, we're gonna get more of him in the sequel.
I think he might show
Yeah.
up in the
Yeah, he
sequel.
may
Yeah,
be.
maybe.
It's the coolest the Spot has been since Mark Waid's
Daredevil.
run.
Oh
Yes. Yeah, he's in there.
He's yeah. Well, imagine that kind of power set against Daredevil with like his
Oh,
sensory,
right,
and it's
yeah.
That's
awesome.
cool.
It's absolutely awesome.
And I'll tell you, it's interesting, universe mechanics wise, that he got sent to Universe 42 at the end. Like it read the spider.
Yeah, I
stuff
love that.
within
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
his DNA is the spider DNA now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder also if they'll make anything out of the fact that he has other powers.
Well,
You know.
that's what Arslan, the voice of reason, mentioned when we were talking about how he's not supposed to be a Spider-Man. Is that maybe why his powers are different too?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you get invisible and the,
And the
kinetic.
shocking
bio
stuff and
shock
absorption.
thing, yeah.
Hobie helping him out with that was pretty cool.
Here's the cool thing about this. This is how you know this is fucking masterful, ladies and gentlemen. Because if they had told us going in that this was going to be part 1 of 2,
Yeah.
Spider-Man versus the Spot,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
we'd have been like, what
Yeah.
the
Get the fuck outta
fuck are they-"
here.
And
Yeah.
if they had told you, if they hadn't told you who the directors were, but they just said, we're not bringing back the director of the first movie. The villain's going to be the Spot.
Yeah.
And this is part 1 of 2, guys. We'd have been like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, how do you know what that's a not a different conversation. How do you feel about having like the part 1 or subtitle in movies? Like, do you want to know that it's part 1 of 2?
I don't want to know.
I
Or
was
just
cool not
experience
knowing.
it.
Like I had heard that there was another movie, as I mentioned, but there's sequels to a lot of movies. You know, I didn't realize it
Yeah.
was going to be part 1.
I
I
think it
went
was
in not
spoiled for
knowing,
me
and I
to
Yeah.
loved
anyway.
it. I loved it not knowing.
Well, because
Yeah,
I
it was
like the
cool.
new Mission Impossible is coming out and it's called Dead Reckoning Part 1. I'm like, why just leave it off? Just
Yeah.
be Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Like, do people need to know? Just let you know, like, do we need 15 minutes worth of trailers? And do we need to know exactly how much investment's involved? Go see it.
Yeah.
If you like it, you like it. If you don't,
Yeah, History of
Carry
the
on.
World, part 1
Yeah.
is the only one that needs a part 1 behind it.
What about Leonard Part 6?
I've never heard of that.
It's a Bill Cosby.
Don't worry
movie.
about it.
Uh,
Did you
don't.
review that
Yes,
one? It's so
yes,
bad.
Yes.
But I was obsessed with it as a child.
I remember loving it as a kid.
You know what?
I don't
We
remember this.
reviewed it
Yeah.
for Bad Black Movie Month.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year.
And when we did, and, a fan. And when we reviewed it, we got so many like tweets and emails like, what do you mean it's a bad movie?
I mean, it's I
Filth,
was,
filth, flarn, filth.
I was obsessed with that movie as a kid. Actually, I should let me try and watch
How
it.
have
Is
I
it even
not heard of
available
this
anywhere?
movie? Man.
It is.
Where? Just free on YouTube. That's probably the safest way to watch it.
Yes.
Because I
Bad
don't want to
black
give.
movie.
I don't want to
streaming
give.
service.
I don't want to give
Bill.
any money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For just a second, I forgot.
Right.
Ugh, gross.
That was actually my entire experience watching. First of all,
Ghost Dad.
they're not
I was just thinking of Ghost Dad.
good.
they're
movie.
not comparable crimes, but that was my experience watching The Flash. Like I would
Ezra
get
Miller.
stuck in it. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh, they're out. They suck though.
You know
Oh,
what
but
I-
it's great. It's great. It's great. Oh, but they suck.
Yeah, mine kept being like, oh man, they're really charming in this. They're doing a good job. They being Ezra.
I'm
Yeah.
too online to like be able to completely separate it. But the movie's still.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it some other day.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it when it comes out. I totally want someone to claim that Leonard franchise and start it over.
Only if it is a Leonard and Buckaroo Banzai franchise,
Nice.
because that's the only other kind of thing that's like it's essentially like Buckaroo Banzai is like the white guy Leonard Part 6.
I've been meaning to watch that.
I mean, I'm not even a Buckaroo fan, but you're doing it disservice attaching it to Leonard Part 6 in any freaking way.
That's-
Leonard
you know what,
Part
that's
1,
fair.
I would pay to see, says our son.
Leonard Part 1.
Was there anything we forgot
Don't
about?
get Arson talking about Leonard Part 6 or Buckaroo Banzai. We will be here all day. It'll be
Doesn't
Any
he
other
fight?
bets?
Doesn't he
Let's
fight
see.
an ostrich?
Don't you got someplace
The
to go?
opening
He
part with the
flies
vulture
on
was
an
cool.
ostrich.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right, out of the
Yeah.
building.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah, well,
other
that's a kid.
spider people that
Yes.
you really enjoyed seeing?
Gosh. Any
What's
other
next
spider
week?
people that you
Yeah.
really enjoyed seeing is Brian's question.
I
Anybody
mean, it
we
was
missed?
a cool joke with Spider-Man 67 when his leg cramp
Wait, what?
from 1967.
Mm-hmm.
He comes
Oh,
swinging
right.
in.
He comes swinging in
Right.
two-dimensionally.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
oh, my leg. Leg cramp. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is the wonderful female in the wheelchair?
She's cool.
What is her
The, like, digital avatar.
Spider
girl.
Bite.
No, the one in the
Spider-Bite,
wheelchair.
The one in the
Oh.
wheelchair, because like her
Oh,
webs
Oh,
Sun,
are-
yeah.
Sun
and-
Spider. I mentioned I did her for the show last week,
Sun
but we didn't get
Spider.
to her.
So like
but yeah.
it's like she moves from the chair to the crutches, and it's
Yeah.
like it was visually
While
so
making
freaking
a
cool.
crutch pun.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, she made a crutch pun, and the webs come out of the crutches. I thought that was dope as hell.
That
Yes.
was dope.
Out of
Yeah.
the crotches?
Crutches.
The crutches.
Do
I was
y'all
like, I
know
did not
the,
notice her crotch.
the story of Jessica Drew, voiced by Issa Rae, Spider Woman, and why she is a black woman?
No.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Because Jessica Drew famously is the Spider Woman of the Marvel comics,
Mhm.
but historically a white woman.
Yeah.
However, if you go back, if you remember Spidey from the Electra Company,
Yeah, yeah.
he used to have an adapted series, Spidey Super Stories.
No.
There is an adventure there where there is a librarian who is a black woman with a huge afro who, in order to save Spider-Man, dons a spider costume
Oh.
and is thus really pre Jessica Drew,
Yeah.
the first Spider Woman.
I've seen this.
Interesting.
I've seen
So-
someone posted this online. I saw a
Right.
picture of it.
So the
Yeah, I
thought
forgot.
is that the reason why they blend the two
Yeah.
there for Jessica Drew, the actual first
Oh,
Spider
you know what?
Woman.
Real quick, talk, some of the controversies online I thought were pretty funny. The fact that so many people seem to be mad at Jessica Drew's Spider Woman because she's fighting crime pregnant.
But they don't say anything
not
about
Peter
Peter
Walking-
fighting with
yeah.
with his baby.
That's
Yeah.
only,
I was
that's only
thinking
one of the
more about
controversies
that.
In a Spidey
Yeah.
Bjorn.
At the end
Um,
of the
leave her
in the-
home!
in the beginning part, sure. The second one is like, why are you taking her with
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
But I guess
Like, you
he
didn't
just-
know you were all
yeah.
going to be chasing down Miles. Like, I
Right.
understand why you brought him just to have a chat.
Right.
But, like, don't take her again.
Right.
Although she does the cool little...
She does that,
And
maybe
the animation is
she's
so
gotta know.
good that it looks like real
It look-
crochet. It
it
looks
looks
like
pretty cool.
photorealistic.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which I'm kind of delighted by, is a lot of people are taking ownership of Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen being trans in this universe
Yes,
because of
the colors.
the color schemes
the
and
colors.
the
Captain
trans
Stacy
flag.
has a trans flag on his badge.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's got a trans
Oh,
flag.
really?
She's got a trans flag on her wall. The color schemes are
The
trans colors.
Yes.
Which are from the Rico Renzi colored Spider-Gwen comic book. Like
Mhm.
that whole book is those colors. But
what,
the
were
fact that
those
they,
the trans colors at the time, or no, not yet?
I don't know.
I don't know the history of.
I don't know
of
the history of the trans flag, but
Yeah.
it's very much like
Hmm.
pinks, blues, greens,
Right,
very-
right,
yeah,
right.
neon. So I
Pinks-
love
pinks,
that.
blue,
I think that's
purple.
cool. Trans rep, I don't care. That's great.
Yeah, and also too, like a lot of her character arc could very,
Yeah.
very,
That whole
very easily
conversation-
be transposed onto
Transposed.
a trans character's struggle,
Good point.
especially the coming out to her father as
Yes.
Spider Woman.
Oh.
All of that can easily be seen through the lens of a trans character, and not the first trans Spider Woman.
Who's the first trans Spider-Woman? He asked.
Jessica Drew, Ultimate Jessica Drew.
Oh, no, of course we knew this.
Ultimate
yeah,
Jessica
Ultimate.
Drew, right,
Yeah,
right.
it's a clone of Peter who is a girl.
Is she trans?
Well, formerly a male, transition.
Formerly a male, or just
transitioned
created as
via-
female?
They took Peter Parker, who's male,
Yeah.
cloned him as a woman.
Does he have the memory? Does she
All-
have the memories of Peter Parker?
Yes.
all of the she literally
Hmm.
shares all of his memories all the way up until
That's
like age
interesting.
16
Yeah.
as a male,
When
and then
we-
transitions into
when we get
Full
to,
female.
but she never actually existed as that Peter Parker. She's just created.
As
I
far
mean-
as she's
memories.
concerned, she was.
I mean-
This is not the same. But we may just need to, once we hit that level of technology,
Yeah.
develop even more in the infinite variations of human sexuality. You know.
I think narratively she's trans.
Yeah.
Okay.
we can call it. Also, don't they make out at one point? Peter and
No.
no,
Do
I think they had a kiss
I would
at
do
one
that
point.
if I had a clone of myself.
Maybe that was just.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
did
just
you
a
dream
kink?
That?
Did you make
Yeah.
out with a clone of yourself?
Whoops! I guess that's my kink now.
No, but there was like a. I think there was like a subplot of her dating eventually, and it was just like,
She
look,
was-
this
she
is
was-
what I like.
She was
Kate.
dating Johnny, right? Wasn't she dating
something
the Human
that,
Torch?
or the Human Torch like crushed
Yeah.
on her, and
Yeah.
it was like, it was reciprocated.
yeah,
But everyone still felt uncomfortable
Yeah.
because she has all of the
of
memories
Peter Parker.
and experiences of Peter Parker, and this
Yeah.
is my best friend.
Anyway, let us know what you think. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Tell us your favorite Spider-Sona, your favorite scene. If there's anything you didn't like about this movie, did we say anything we didn't like? Besides, I thought maybe it would be like one movie.
The
Did
one
anybody
bit of
have any
controversy
problems?
I've heard is that in some theaters, and it was in one of the ones that I saw, that there's been issues with the sound.
Oh, I had trouble
Huh.
with Hobie. I feel like his levels were so low that I was like, what do you say? What's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
It's a very thick accent, too.
It actually was enough of an issue that Phil Lord actually put a tweet out there
Oh.
and telling people like, "Yo, go, if there are sound issues, go to the
Right, right.
Manager.
the manager.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell them the level needs to be set. I think like 7.5.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
7.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had little stickers made for projectionists.
right.
Of Play Spider Verse at 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
And if they give you any
Yeah.
pushback, tell them Phil told you.
Tell-
told them to
tell
do
them
it.
Phil
That'd be
sent you.
cool if you're a projectionist to grab one of those stickers. It'd
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
cool
Homie.
memento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be this is gonna be this movie. This is the movie of the summer.
Yeah.
It is so
Yeah.
cool.
It made so much money.
Yeah.
We talked about this on Michelle Mission. It's so very cool, and I don't know. We didn't look it up if it's the first time it's happening. That the number 1 and number 2 films in America this week are black films.
What's number 2?
Little Mermaid.
Oh, I hear
Cool.
that's so good.
Yeah, did you see it?
I've heard really good
I've not
things.
seen it
I've
yet.
heard. I've actually
But,
other than people, I think, justifiably griping about the facial expressions of sea creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I've heard everyone just like, actually, it was pretty great. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Vincent had the same feeling, the same experience that I did. Because my second time I went to see this was in a smaller theater in Narberth, right? Which literally there was only two films they were playing: Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, and Little Mermaid, and it was packed.
Nice.
It was packed there, and it was really cool to see that, you know, as many people are there. There was a huge crowd with Spider-Man little girls, but a whole lot of boys going into the Spider-Man, and a huge crowd Spider-Man little boys, but a whole lot of little girls going into Little
Yeah.
Mermaid. It
Yeah,
was
we
really
had
dope.
at our theater there
Nice.
was a big old birthday party, and we were like, "Where are all these
There was
girls
a birthday
going?"
party at ours.
And it was like, "Oh, they're going to see Little Mermaid."
Yep.
What is that number 2? I just assumed because
Yeah.
it's been out longer.
Yeah, it
It's
was
only
like
been out 1 week more.
Has it? Oh, has it
120
really?
million.
And I think
then
it's like
40.
40. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mark Atkins is in the chat. The sound was an issue for our viewing too, but I will be watching this film several times. Absolutely love this.
Yeah, the next
movie.
time I see it, I'm definitely going to see it in like IMAX.
IMAX was awesome.
IMAX
No, I
was
bet.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't suggest seeing it in 40x.
No, I'm
This
not
movie's-
watching anything. in
Now
40X.
I'm
No.
framing all film under what I see it in 40x.
Yeah, yeah.
And if there's anything more than like a jostle
Yeah.
of the camera, no.
Yeah.
no.
And this one kind of moved around the camera.
Which
Yeah.
which means I
Yeah.
I wouldn't no.
Mm-mm, no.
Now I know
Pass.
Oppenheimer is coming out soon, and that will be in IMAX.
Yeah.
So anybody who really wants to see it in IMAX should plan accordingly.
I have not seen a
Nolan?
Nolan movie since Interstellar.
No,
Same.
any of his movies.
I think that's
No.
the last one that I saw
Same.
too.
Same.
Because I think
Yeah.
that they're soulless and boring.
they're not that great.
I actually
just
think
haven't
he
gotten
is
to
the
him.
most overrated.
Yeah.
Similar to Alan Moore. He's good,
I
but
think he's-
not anywhere
I think
near
he's,
as good as he
he's
is often
technically
claimed to
a
be.
genius, and everything he makes is beautiful, but it's devoid of
Hmm.
any kind of palpable emotion that hooks me into a
Hmm.
movie.
But yeah, so I
They're
think
like
that comes out.
exercises in excellence without
Yeah.
any kind of like.
I also had problems with the mechanics of the dream-related one. But
Inception, I
yeah.
enjoyed,
Yeah.
Oh, I like
Inception was
Inception.
great.
but Interstellar, I thought was dribble.
Email us what you
Yeah.
thought of Christopher Nolan as a director.
Dunkirk,
We're gonna
Tenet,
get out of
Oh,
here.
Dunkirk.
Oppenheimer in 40X
see
might
that
be
one?
dangerous.
It probably
Huh.
will cook my innards if I
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
went and see it in 40x.
They
Just like
have a
radiation
piece of
would.
uranium in every
Yeah.
seat.
Fucking, ugh.
Yeah.
All
3
right.
hours long. 3 hours.
You know where to find us. We've said it all before. Come to the comic shop, Hero Complex. Fresh floppies every Wednesday morning.
Oh.
Today
where-
we premiered a new
Segment.
segment.
Fast
is it?
floppies.
Fast flop.
How fast?
Yeah.
10 words.
10
Whoa.
words is the whole review.
A 10-word
fast.
review.
Yeah.
And you can't prep it.
Oh.
Just got to do it.
Thanks so much for
Boom, boom,
hanging out
boom.
with us, and we will talk at you later.
Yeah.
Twip, twip.